So just enjoying Welsh cakes here by the River Dee, and I glanced up there and there's a hill there with a ruin on top of it. Castell Dinas Brân, probably pronounced that wrong. So it's a castle that was built on the site of a Iron Age hill fort. So I think one day this week we're going to get up there. In town there's a bakery that sells these enormous oggies, pasties. I'm going to get a couple of those. We'll heat them up in the oven in the morning and then carry them up there while they're cooling, and that'll be our lunch at the top of the hill, hopefully. So that's the plan for tomorrow. The weather's forecasting rain this afternoon, so I think we probably won't go there today, but tomorrow we're going to go and climb to the top of that hill. Okay, well here we go then. That's where we're going, up there to the top of that hill. Castell Dinas Brân, which means the castle or city of the crows. And it's just going to be steadily uphill from here. Now, sky is threatening a few drops of rain today. I don't think we've got any heavy rain forecast, but it's overcast, and those clouds up there do look like they might give us a little sprinkle. Not a bad thing actually for climbing a big hill. Don't want bright sunshine really. Cooler conditions, probably a little bit more comfortable. And as always, I imagine the size and the steepness of the hill, the gradient of the hill, and the size of the climb probably not very well represented on camera. So yeah, this is about as steep a path as you can comfortably walk up without steps. So nice view across the hills from up here. We're not anywhere near the top yet though. And there are sheep loose. So Eva is on the lead because she would chase them. There down there is the town of Llangollen. Look at this old blasted stump here. Kind of Instagrammable.
Hi mate.
So at this point we've been walking steadily uphill for about 20 minutes. There's a viewpoint here. Rather impressive escarpment over there. So this was apparently originally an Iron Age hill fort, and then it was fortified further in the 13th century. But the castle didn't last for long apparently, so it was burnt by its Welsh defenders in 1277 in the face of a threatened English attack by supporters of Edward I. It was used briefly by the English forces, but finally abandoned as a fortress in 1282. So we've got a ziggy-zaggy path to go up to the summit. Lovely rowan tree there, look, mountain ash. Sorbus ocuparia. Bright red berries, almost ripe. Berries are edible on this tree. For a long time as a child I thought these were poisonous, but they are edible. They're a little bit bitter, but after they've been fully ripened, and if you stick them in the freezer overnight, apparently, I've made jelly out of them before, and it was not something you want on toast, but it was very good with smoked meats and cheese and that sort of thing. More like a savoury chutney type of jelly. So I imagine some of the stone for building the castle was probably quarried from those cliff faces over there. Although largely I think those formations are natural. This bit here looks like it might be quarried. Oh, we've got to go down before we go up, and there are sheep. Oh, we're off the path. Path is over here. Yep, so Eva's going to be on the lead for the duration of this walk, because she will run after sheep. Another lovely rowan tree there. As fine a specimen of a rowan tree as you could ever hope to see, I think. Gorse bushes here, very small because they've been grazed. The sheep will nip off the tips of these gorse bushes and keep them small like this. And of course it's in flower. There's almost never a time when you can't find, if there's gorse around, there's almost always a specimen that will be flowering. There's an old country saying, kissing's out of season when gorse is out of flower. So here's where we've come so far. We're not quite at the top yet. Quite a view from up here. There's little white dots down there in the field of sheep. Well, down there in the valley I see some crows, ravens I think. They're just flying across the path there. So perhaps this is the castle of, or city of the crows. We'll hear another one. So the path is quite steep, certainly not accessible for anything with wheels, apart from maybe a mountain bike. And I think you probably need stout shoes for this as well. The path is quite rough and uneven. It's got all these chipped stones on it, some of which are just naturally weathering out of the surface, some have been added. Oh. Okay, there we go. So that down there is the town of Llangollen. Pardon my pronunciation. Just my dialect doesn't include some of the sounds that are in the Welsh language, and so whenever I try to use them, they probably sound forced or erroneous or artificial, because they kind of are. Anyway. Onward and upward. Okay, we're not far off the castle now. So this is not a mountaineering, but it is a relentless uphill slog. So, you know, we'll take breathers at some of the corners. Lovely view along the valley there. Okay. So I wouldn't mind betting, if we went for a little rummage in amongst these conifers here, that we might find some saffron milk caps. However, foraging is not the objective of today, and also I don't fancy my chances on this hillside. Those trees are not leaning, those trees are vertical. It's the ground that's leaning. There would be only just enough purchase there to maintain a footing, I think, unless you're a mountain goat. So we won't be doing that. So a few little spots of rain now, because we are actually up in the clouds. This is not mist across here. This is the bottom of the clouds. So I can see my house from here. We're in the little cottage right down there on the river front. Just where that sandstone coloured church is there, there's a little pasty shop, or a little bakery, where we bought a couple of giant oggies. It's Welsh beef pasties. I bought them yesterday. I heated them up in the oven this morning, just before we left, so they should still be warm when we get to the top. Anyway, here's the castle. So the mountain is, the hillside is composed of this slate, and I'll assume the castle is built from the same stone. This is the native stone coming out the soil here. There we go. Dinas Brân. Do we have to go up the steep bit? Oh. So we're standing in what would have been part of the interior of the castle. You can just about see the rectangular footings of perhaps a little chapel or something, maybe a guard's house, and the remains of the arches, the structure of the place. Sorry, I'm out of breath. It has been quite a climb. So when I was younger and we took the kids to places like this, they'd always ask, "What's in there, Daddy?" And I'd say, "That's where they put the naughty children." Right, well, obviously we're not alone here. Let's get up here and have a look out across that escarpment and see. Oh, some small animal just ran across there. I think a little rabbit or something, because it went down a hole. Right, so yeah, actually to get up onto that hilltop would mean going down a valley and back up the other side. I'm not sure I'm up for that today. It's a fantastic view from up here, but I'm not sure I'm up for another down and then up and then down at the end. So maybe we'll have to leave that until another visit. So this looks like the remains of a defensive dike around the castle. There we go again, you know, Instagrammable. So not so much need for a defensive dike on this side. There's just a natural, very steep hill. Not very much chance of invaders storming up this side. So we're going to find somewhere to sit down and try out these oggies.
There's a little ledge on that bit over there.
So yeah, this looks like a place we could sit. This is probably an old hearth actually. Yeah. So giant oggie time. It's still warm. I can feel it through there. I did wrap it in foil to keep it a little bit warm. Okay, well here it is. It's too big to pick up in one go. You can have some in a minute. Quiet. That is so good. Really tasty. So this is my first time eating a Welsh oggie, so I've no idea how typical this example is, but it's big chunks of potato, big chunks of beef, lots of lovely luscious gravy. No sweet, no carrot, just beef and potatoes. And onions. Nice, lovely, sweet onion just in front of the crimp there. Well, that's kind of weird. We've just finished our oggies and everybody's gone. We've got the place to ourselves now. So I think there might be a different way back down to the town. So I think possibly down via a path that goes off the back of the hill here and then curves back round through the valley. So we may go back a different way. Oh, actually I think it joins that road down there actually, so maybe not, because we might just end up walking along a road with no pavements. So yeah, I think we'll do that walk another time. Okay, well, we'll go for a little walk around the outside of the castle and then think about heading back down. But just before we do, I'm just going to walk around the perimeter here and get the view. So that's the view across the valley and the town of Llangollen. A little bit more rain coming in over here and especially over there. Right. So yeah, I think there is a path that goes down here, but then it joins onto that lane down there, and it's a lane that walks back to the village, the town. That's definitely a quarry over there. So yeah, I think we'll go back down the way we came. So thanks for joining me on this trip up to Castell Dinas Brân, near Llangollen in Wales. I hope that's been interesting. Thanks for watching, and I hope to see you again soon.